Before dawn, the ship had already cut through the waves and plunged into the deep sea. The bow of the ship was like a steel arrow piercing through layers of water, ready for a tough day of fishing. Once most of the nets are loaded onto the boat, the fishermen begin the manual inspection process. Under the blazing sun, they carefully go through each section of net, untangling, tying knots, and ensuring the nets are not damaged after a heavy catch. It is a job that requires patience and experience because each mesh of the net is a precious asset in the ocean. A small hole can mean the loss of the next catch. This was an extraordinary catch, filled with creatures from the ocean floor, bright red, dense, filling the mesh. A moment that showed the sea is still full of wonders. Before they can reap the rewards, fishermen must begin with the most important step: casting their nets. Each large roll of net is lowered into the deep blue water, stretching out in the direction of the wind and currents. After many hours of casting the net, the first catch was brought to the deck. Each silvery white fish wriggled, sparkling in the sunlight. The fishermen's sweat mixed with the salty air of the ocean. This is a traditional, but still extremely effective purseine technique, using the movement of the ship and the direction of the waves to encircle a large area. Every meter of net is the hope and life of many families who depend on the sea. Finally, the catch was gathered and lifted out of the sea by crane. The net bag was round and shiny silver in the sun. Inside were thousands of fresh fish just pulled from the ocean floor. Immediately afterwards, the fish were lowered into the cold storage. Hand baskets worked continuously, pouring fish all over the floor, a scene that was both hard work and joyful. This was the result of many hours of struggling in the strong wind and waves. Not just offshore, but even in small rivers and canals, fishing still goes on quietly. Two men are pulling a heavy net of fish out of the muddy water. They have no machinery to help them, just muscles, experience, and calloused hands. And here is the result: the net is full of fresh fish. The river and freshwater fish are still splashing around, signaling a bountiful catch. On the simple little boat, joy is evident on every face. As soon as the net rose to the surface, hundreds of seabirds immediately flocked to it. They circled, dived, and fought over every small fish that fell from the net as if signaling a great catch. The nets were lifted, and the fish began to pour onto the deck. A silvery white color covered the wooden deck, shining in the sunlight, a spectacular and satisfying sight after hours of hard work at sea. A team of fishermen worked together, one by one, grabbing the anchor rope and pulling up the top of the net, which is now floating on the water. Colorful buoys sway and sway with the waves, indicating that the net has reached the fish layer, B. On the side of the boat, the giant net was now bulging. Below were dozens, sometimes hundreds of kilograms of fish struggling, splashing water. This was the moment when there could be no delay. Every second that passed meant the fish could escape. Finally, the net was lifted and opened. Tons of fish poured onto the deck. The sound of fish falling echoed through the waves and the coordinated calls of the fishermen. The deck was white with fish, flooding from stern to bow. Each fish was a trophy, the result of a long journey through the waves. The waves will eventually calm down, but the fisherman's journey to make a living continues day after day, year after year. Hopefully, this video has given you a real and vivid perspective of fishing in the vast ocean. If you like videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel and share to support content creators like us. Thank you and see you in the next videos.